Hi and welcome to Decoding Tarot. This week I'm going to show you another 5 decks. So last week I showed you 5 decks and this week I'm going to show you another 5. First deck I'm going to show you is Crow Tarot. This is another deck by MJ Cullinane. So last time I showed you the Curious Cats Tarot. This is the same author, so they're quite similar in style. Instead of featuring cats though, these ones of course feature crows. So in the box there is a smallish book with a short explanation of each card. So not quite as in depth as the one for the Curious Cats, and it is in fact a different publisher to the Curious Cats. I'll take out the cards and I'll show you a few of the major arcana. The Fool, the Magician, High Priestess, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers. The art on these cards is really striking. Always themed with crows. So in each case the character is a crow. The Fool is a crow on a branch waiting to take off into the unknown. The Emperor is a crow sitting on his nice big chair. Some of the symbolism of course is still the same, so we still have the ram's head that we would also see in Waite Smith. Show you a few more. Chariot, Strength, Justice, Hanged Man, Death. The Death card is interesting because as well as showing a crow dying, it's also showing the rebirth of a crow. Because of course death does not mean death literally. Death is about change. So death of the old ways and rebirth of the new ways. Temperance, Devil, Tower, Star, Moon, Sun, Judgment, World. Just to include a couple of my favourite cards, so Ten of Swords, not quite as nasty as some versions are. They are still piercing the crow, but it's a toned down version. And I always like the Two of Pentacles, always showing balance. So the Two of Pentacles always shows balance between earthly things and the spiritual. We have the infinity symbol, 2 pentacles, and the crow is balancing on the infinity symbol. So as usual, I will leave a still so you can have a better look at the cards. The next set I'd like to show you is the Everywhere Witch Tarot by Elizabeth Alba. This is a very good set if you like a modern deck. It has a witchy feel to it. There are lots of cats, lots of stripy socks, it's quite a fun deck. In the box there's an excellent book. This is one of the best books that comes with a book of tarot. It's in full colour throughout. The explanations are really modern based and quite humorous, so it's quite a funny book. There's also places to leave your own notes here and there in the book. So I would really recommend this deck, especially for a beginner. It sticks quite close to Rider Waite, but makes everything a little bit more fun. So if I show you the cards, again I'll show you a few of the major arcana. Fool, as always, the Fool is leaping off into the unknown. But in this case, the figure going into the unknown looks really happy about going into the unknown. They're celebrating their choice to jump. Magician, High Priestess. Notice in each case there's always a cat present. There's one tucked behind the coat of the magician. Sorry, the Fool. The magician, there's one joining in the ritual. The High Priestess. The cat is looking after the runes on the table. The Empress. The Emperor. Hierophant. These are very, very colourful cards, and they're just really a really nice size in the hands, and the colours are really lovely. Death is interesting because the death is being depicted is coming to cut the cord between the old and the new. So again, it's about rebirth rather than strictly about death. Devil is also an interesting card. The Devil is always about temptation, and on the Devil card there's a couple on the bench. The Devil's tempting them. He's tempting the lady with an ice cream and the man with the money. Ten of Swords, again an interesting card. In this depiction, the person being stabbed with the Ten of Swords isn't dead, and they're reaching for their broom. That's their salvation. So they have reached the turning point. They can reach their broom, and everything will be better. And again, my favourite cards are always the Two of Pentacles, always showing balance. In this case, the witch is balancing on the seesaw in the middle of it, and the cat is joining in to try and push her off. So the cat in this case is actually trying to upset that balance. The next deck is the Lightseer's deck. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I will use this a lot in future videos, because I will use it often for comparison of the different decks, but just to show you a few, to give you an idea. The Fool I've already shown in my first video. Again, very, very modern style cards, with rich coloured textures. And quite striking. To show you one of my favourite cards, I think one of them I've already shown in my first video, which was the Ten of Swords, where the swords are represented by birds. So the birds are the thoughts swirling around the person's head, but she's looking off into the future, so everything's going to be alright. Another one of my favourite cards is the Two of Pentacles. As I said, this always represents balance. So in this case, the actual infinity symbol is not there anymore, but is actually inferred. But she's swirling two bags around her head. One, which contains a star, which represents the spiritual world, another a purse, which represents the earthly world. And the balance is achieved while she's spinning. So she's actually moving things around, and it shows us how easy balance can be upset. My fourth deck of cards is the LLewellyn Tarot. This was brought out to celebrate an anniversary of the company's founder and is based on Welsh folklore. So it's a little bit different from any of the other decks. Open it up again, there's an excellent book. This is a huge book in comparison with some of the others that come with decks. And one of the key things with it is that each of the major arcana has a legend associated with it. So when I show you the cards, the major arcana, there'll be a name of a person on the card, and in the book it will tell you about the legend of that person. So it's incorporating Welsh legend into the cards. So these cards are quite arty, but unfortunately they're bordered, which makes them a little bit smaller, the pictures. So for instance, this is the Fool. I'll see if I can bring it a bit closer, I don't know if it'll focus. Which shows that our intrepid Fool on a horse leaping over a stream in quite a classical style. And if you continue through the cards, the classical style carries on. Oops. The Magician, High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor. So the images in each case are quite classical based, but basing each one on a character from Welsh folklore is quite interesting. So for instance, Justice, this is the Lady of the Fountain. So in the book it has the legend of the Lady of the Fountain. The Hanged Man is the enchantment of Difford, if that's pronounced right. Some quite striking images there. The Star has a picture of Stonehenge in the background, and it's the legend of Branwen. I will be doing a deeper dive into all of these decks in the future, so I'm only going to talk briefly today. So that's the LLewellyn Tarot. If I'm pronouncing Llewellyn incorrectly, please tell me. I'm never sure if it's Llewellyn or Llewellyn. And my final deck for today is the Waite Tarot deck. So this is the standard deck that all others virtually are based on. There are a couple of other systems. There is the Marseille Tarot, which is slightly different, and there's Thoth Tarot by Aleister Crowley, which is slightly different as well. Virtually all the ones I've shown you in my two videos are based on Waite. Now this probably has the worst leaflet book that comes with the deck. So a tiny little leaflet with just a little bit of information on each card. Now these are if you were going to go into a bookshop that's not specialist, these are the cards that you'll probably find the easiest. Personally, I don't really like them. I think they're a bit old-fashioned, and they're actually produced in the 1920s, but they were made to look a lot older than that when they first came out. So I mainly have them as a comparison decks to compare with other decks, but all the modern decks, the artwork is based on the Waite. So these, if you have ever seen tarot before, these images will be really familiar to you. So Magician, the Fool, High Priestess, the Empress, Hierophant, lovers, etc, etc. So I won't show any more of those. These will come up. I'll use them for a comparison with other decks anyway. And that's all the decks I'm going to show you today. So if you have any suggestions of decks that you like and you'd like to tell me about them that maybe I should get hold of, if there's any decks I've shown you that you really like, please tell me about it. In the next video I'm going to be talking about the Fool and looking at the imagery across a few different decks to show the differences and the comparisons. And how not the meanings will change, but how they can be interpreted will change. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next one, which will be next week. Thank you very much.